Have you ever wondered why your mother's love sometimes feels like a bargaining chip? Why, instead of support, you feel like you're competing or being manipulated? These relationships, which should be our source of security and affection, can turn into emotional prisons where love comes with conditions, criticism is constant, and your own identity is erased. Imagine carrying the weight of the unfulfilled expectations of someone who was supposed to protect you. It's painful but necessary to face this reality so that you can set yourself free. Conditional love. Imagine growing up in an environment where the love you receive depends on how much you please your mother. She shows affection when you obey, and withdraws that affection whenever you express your own will. This type of conditional love is not true love, but rather a tool of manipulation. Over time, you may start to question your worth and confuse obedience with love. This can create an emotional trap, where you believe you are only worthy of love if you follow the rules she imposes. However, genuine love should be unconditional, accepting you for who you are, not for how much you conform. Awareness of this dynamic is the first step to breaking this cycle and starting to build healthier relationships based on mutual respect and acceptance. Believe me, you deserve to be loved for who you truly are, not for who you were molded to be. Maternal narcissism. When your mother is narcissistic, everything revolves around her. She sees you as an extension of herself, expecting you to live out the dreams she couldn't fulfill. This creates an unbearable burden, as no achievement will ever be enough to fill her void. Narcissistic mothers can be extremely controlling, unable to accept that their children have their own personalities and desires. They want to mold you in their image, forcing you down a path that is not your own. This results in a cycle of unreachable expectations and constant frustration. Understanding that this dynamic is a reflection of her insecurities, not a flaw of yours, is crucial to breaking the cycle. You have the right to be the person you want to be without carrying the weight of someone else's unfulfilled dreams. Your life is yours to live, and no one should take that away from you. Manipulation and control. There are subtle forms of control that can be difficult to identify, especially when they come from someone who is supposed to love and protect you. A controlling mother may manipulate your decisions, always under the guise of, "It's for your own good." She may sabotage your plans and relationships, creating situations that make you question your own choices and abilities. Have you ever felt this way? As if nothing you do is good enough, or as if you're constantly under someone's critical eye? Comment below. Share your experiences. This type of manipulation is harmful because it destroys your confidence and leaves you in a state of constant doubt. It's like living under a cloud of insecurity, never knowing when it will clear. However, recognizing these tactics is the first step toward freeing yourself from them. You deserve to make your own decisions, to make mistakes and learn, without being manipulated by someone who should be your biggest supporter. Envy and sabotage. Sometimes, the person who should be most proud of your achievements is the very one who tries to undermine them. Some mothers, as hard as it may be to believe, see their children's success as a reminder of their own failures. This can lead them to acts of sabotage, whether conscious or unconscious, to prevent you from shining. They may downplay your achievements, criticize them, or even create obstacles in your path. This envy is corrosive and can deeply affect your self-esteem. Recognizing this behavior is crucial so you can protect your accomplishments and celebrate your successes without guilt. If you've ever gone through something like this, you know how painful it can be. So, to ensure you don't miss out on important content on how to overcome these challenges, subscribe to the channel. Don't let someone else's envy dim your light. You have the right to be recognized and valued for your own accomplishments. Internal conflict. Nothing is more painful than realizing that the person who should be your greatest source of love and support is also the cause of much of your pain. This type of internal conflict is devastating because you find yourself torn between the need for maternal love and the desire to be free to be who you are. The constant expectations, criticisms, and manipulations create an emotional battle that can seem impossible to win. You begin to question your own sanity, wondering if the problem is really you. However, it's important to remember that recognizing this conflict is the first step to healing. You are not responsible for your mother's insecurities, and you should not sacrifice your well-being to try to fill the void she feels. Your inner peace is worth more than any external approval. Learning to deal with this conflict and eventually overcoming it is an act of courage that will allow you to live authentically. Immature mothers. When a mother doesn't mature emotionally, she remains in a state of perpetual adolescence, where her desires and needs always come first. This immaturity can cause her to treat you, her child, more like a confidant or even a rival, rather than fulfilling her role as a mother. She may dump her frustrations on you, expecting you to carry the weight of her unresolved pain. Perhaps she's incapable of dealing with her own emotions, and instead of seeking help, transfers that responsibility onto you. This creates a dysfunctional dynamic where you feel responsible for soothing and healing her wounds. Have you ever been put in this position? If so, leave a comment below. Understanding that this immaturity is hers, not yours, is fundamental so that you can free yourself from this unfair burden. You deserve to live your own life without carrying someone else's emotional baggage. Resentment and disconnection. Some mothers carry within them an inexplicable resentment towards their own children, creating an invisible barrier that prevents a true connection. This resentment may not have a clear cause, but it manifests in small attitudes, looks, and words that leave deep scars. The child often doesn't understand the reason for this disconnection and may end up blaming themselves, believing that something is wrong with them. This situation is extremely painful because the need for maternal approval and love is deeply rooted in us. If you feel that there is a barrier between you and your mother, that something is preventing you from connecting genuinely, know that this may not be your fault. Subscribe to the channel for more content that can help you better understand this dynamic. Recognizing that this resentment may stem from unresolved issues of your mother's is the first step to starting to heal this relationship. Competition and criticism. Growing up in an environment where constant criticism and competition are normal can be devastating to your self-esteem. When the person who should be your greatest support is constantly competing with you, trying to minimize your achievements, it's easy to feel small and inadequate. This mother may criticize you, not because she wants you to improve, but because she unconsciously feels threatened by your success. This dynamic creates a toxic atmosphere where you are always on the defensive, trying to prove your worth. However, it's important to recognize that this competition is not about you, but about her insecurities. Freeing yourself from these criticisms is essential so that you can fully develop and follow your own path without carrying the weight of her approval. Learning to value your own accomplishments, regardless of what she thinks, is a crucial step for your emotional freedom and personal growth. Psychological disorder. When a mother's toxic behavior becomes extreme, it may reflect a deep psychological disorder disguised as motherhood. Instead of showing love and support, she projects her own pain, frustrations, and insecurities onto you. This type of behavior is more than cruel. It's an expression of a disturbed mind that cannot deal with its own internal issues. The mother who should nurture and protect ends up becoming the main source of suffering. Have you ever felt that your mother projects her own frustrations onto you? If so, share in the comments. It's painful to realize that what you're facing may not just be a series of negative behaviors, but rather a disorder that requires understanding and, in some cases, professional help. Recognizing that this is not your fault and that you are not alone is vital so that you can seek support and start healing from this cycle of pain. Spiritual awakening, becoming aware of these complex and painful dynamics, can be the beginning of a profound spiritual awakening. This process of self-analysis and understanding is not easy, but it is necessary so that you can break free from the patterns that imprison you. Understanding that these difficult experiences have the potential to lead you to a new level of consciousness can be transformative. This awakening is not just about understanding the source of your pain, but about use that understanding to grow and evolve spiritually. Every step you take to free yourself from the negative influences of a toxic mother is a step toward your true essence. This process requires courage, but it is through it that you can find inner peace and a deeper sense of purpose. Use this awakening as a tool to reconnect with who you really are and to build the life you deserve. Overcoming and liberation. Overcoming a toxic relationship with your mother is a challenging but possible journey. The first step is to recognize the dysfunctional dynamic and understand that you have the power to change your story. By confronting these painful truths, you begin to take back control of your life, freeing yourself from the emotional shackles that prevent you from moving forward. This process of liberation is an act of courage because it requires you to face deep fears and often the guilt that has been imposed on you. However, as you free yourself, you begin to realize that you have the power to turn this pain into strength. This transformation is not just for you, but it can also inspire others who are going through similar situations. Your freedom and emotional independence are the greatest gifts you can give yourself.